I really appreciate everyone keeping me in check. Yes, so we are recording. The workshop will be available usually within a couple of days. You can always find these workshops on our YouTube channel at the Reconovation Lab on YouTube. So again, now without further ado, I would like to introduce Hilary Key. Hilary, thank you so much for being here today. And before you start talking, you're on mute, I believe.
Oh my goodness, straight out of the gate. Hi, everybody. I am so honored and just delighted to be here today. It's a kick to have the chance to talk a little bit about one of my very favorite subjects in the world, which is my life's work. And I'm honored to be asked by Tanya, who's a absolutely wonderful person, and I'm grateful to be in the energy of greatness all the way around. So I will tell you a little bit about, before I go into sort of a PowerPoint, I'll just introduce myself a little more. I actually don't have an entrepreneurship or business degree of any kind. I have a fine art degree. So I learned to do abstract, conceptual painting and performance art. I went straight for where my heart was. And I'm doing that to this day. I just pivoted to, I realized I really liked realism. And really love kids and love being around people. So I went into teaching and then had the ability to work with my former bosses and open locations of my own using their program. So that is where we started. And basically what I had from them was a curriculum and a few literal ditto sheets. I have a slight speech impediment, by the way. It's why I learned to draw really well in the first place. So roll with it. It probably won't come up again. But we just had, I don't know, you wouldn't even fill a binder with the number of little pieces of paper that we started off with. And we've been developing standard operating procedures ever since. And I will introduce a little bit about my business. I'm going to go ahead and share. So our company is Art Steps, and what we do is teach classical realistic drawing and painting skills to kids ages 4 and up, teens and adults. Oops, and I'm trying to get my, there we go, my slide to work. So
looks good on our end. Looks good on our end.
All right, you can see the whole screen. Good. So this is us, and this is our website. If you ever want to screenshot, feel free. And you can see that what we do is kind of start kids off. We draw together with them. They look at something and copy it. We do that one trick in art, and we do it very well. And we have started with the mission statement. So what I'm going to do is give you a bit of a history of our business, like an introduction to it, while giving you a history to it, while peppering in some of the tools that I hold most dear and really anchor to as a business owner and entrepreneur, and that our whole company works with, and that are sort of the DNA of our company. So our mission statement is first and foremost. We workshop this together with our staff, and we provide a solid foundation in realistic classical drawing and painting skills. Equally important, a cheerful, caring community where people feel at ease. Step-by-step guidance and mentorship, inspiring and empowering students at every level to enjoy progressing toward their individual artistic goals. That is an action-packed sentence. I know it's long, but it works for us. And then helpful resources encouraging artists to thrive. We started off in the year 2000 with our Yorba Linda studio. And here's some examples of how we work. All the kids work at benches and the teachers visit them one by one. There's some of our awesome staff a little more recently. And all of the students go by a whole program. This is the curriculum that we license. This is an old version of what we used to do. They have a number of books that they choose from. So each of these little guys represents one of the books. And we have this little one choosing her picture for her next artwork that she's going to do. And then they receive a certificate of achievement, but on the other side of this, oh, where'd it go? I'm missing a slide, but they have a whole program sheet that we follow, and they have objectives that they go by. So this is just sort of the mechanics of exactly what we do and sort of what we sell. Besides this, we sell relationships, as far as I'm concerned. This is also my diagram of how how this program works. It was created by Ed Warren, who is really was actually given an award by Disney as a youth advocacy award, calling them one of the top 5 art programs in the nation. And so we use their curriculum, and for 23 years, 20 plus years, I've been personally training all the teachers in this. So I am one of the experts in the world at using this curriculum. There's a little one working, and this is how good they get if they just keep on going with our program. This is Emma, and you're going to see her a little later, teenager. This is an example of some of the oil painting. This is where everyone's aiming. And we have fun while we're doing it. So in 2006, by the way, being a person doing a nurturing business, I will also just point out that I am a mom, which I am a mom of biological children. So I actually carried babies and took care of all that during this process. I think that's a whole other conversation I can have, but had this 2 years after I had my first baby in 2006. It actually started in Mission Viejo, then we moved it. There is the new location. They're also having some fun, just giving you some more introductions into what we do. Wonderful teachers. Love some of these really high level ones. They always tickle me.
Hilary, do you mind if I just jump in and ask a question really quickly?
Not at all.
Okay, so, and by the way, if anyone has any questions, please do put them in the chat, and we'll have some time at the end also to answer some of these questions. But my question is, these are really done by children? I mean, these are beautiful. They're amazing. This is
here's a 14-year-old. Absolutely. So what we do is we draw along with the students. Again, this methodology was picked out as outstanding for a reason. So we micromanage them, every little thing, and every single thing about our program is codified. And what I didn't get in writing, I created in writing so that everything is clear and consistent for our teachers. And I'll go in a little later to how we train our teachers, because it's not an easy thing. I am a fan of quality, and we are enthusiastic about what we're doing now.
You can tell an amazing program that you've created.
A lot of fun. In fact, I felt so lucky. Honestly, my heart overflows every day doing this work. And so in 2011, I was getting ready to start a 3rd studio. Oh, and I'll just start by letting you know my dream. I'm telling you, this works. I wrote on a sheet of paper in 1999. I want to have 3 to 4 studios and 1,000 students. So I wrote that on a sheet of paper and put it aside. This is 2011. We probably had about a few hundred students, and the 2 studios were doing well. I felt so blessed. I went to my partners and I said to them, you know, I'm noticing our kids are getting into OSHA a lot. That's our Orange County High School of the Arts, and it doesn't seem fair. It seems like everyone should get to have these classes. I was a kid that couldn't have had classes like this because my mom could have never taken me to anything like this. What can we do to reach more kids? So we founded our nonprofit, Bright Artists. And here they are at their desks where we go to schools, we go and find them. And they do their work. You can see that this is some of our basic drawing program that we teach, just little pieces of it. There's a whole checklist involved with how to measure and see that Ed created over the course of many years. And then 2000, oh my goodness, was it 16, 17? Art Steps Costa Mesa was born, and we like to say they're a bunch of little weirdos. So there's one of them. There's our grand opening for that, and doing some workshops. I thought this was interesting. This kid's grandma. This is after the pandemic. She made a quilt square for every one of her artworks. So I thought that was amazing. So many ways to support kids doing their art. This is a painting, an oil painting by one of our students. Yeah, and we also do summer camps. So here's our figure drawing camp. We've got everybody from beginners We've got clay, cartooning, all kinds of good stuff. Look at these guys. I mean, how can you not? Everyone working with kids, come on, they give you energy. If they don't, you need more structure. And then we've got kids that do really advanced work as well. This is a figure workshop. Ah, my buddy Sebastian doing his thing, making monsters in our monster workshop. There's another promo. So how do we do it? One of the tools that I really love is called iClass Pro. This is a studio management software is what we call it. They're a gymnastics company first and foremost, but they work with all kinds of after school programs. I got to tell you, this is our anchor. We love this. It does not have, I think it's called an API. It doesn't integrate well with a lot of other apps, but and programs. I have heard a rumor, and it is strictly a many links in the chain, a rumor that they are developing that, and I'm sure they are, because they're so on top of everything. They make all their money with the credit card fees, but you got to pay credit card fees to somebody. And so we have all of our classes that live in here, and you can kind of see across the top, if your Zoom isn't covering the top of your screen like mine is, that you've got your families, students, classes, appointments. We keep all the camps in here. You can do a skill tree, which we use in sometimes. Your staff. So we keep all our staff records in here. So when we need to do a reference check, we can easily find the dates. There's a thousand things you can do. So there's so many programs. And this is my family. You can see we're paying $0, but you got your ledger in here. So just thought some of you might like to kind of know about iClass Pro a little bit. And there's more. So we do have an advanced study program, because I happen to know for a fact that copying things is definitely the cheapest parlor trick in all of art. There's actually real art. So some of our students, this is just a little bit of their work. They're, again, copying things, but they're encouraged to branch out and make their portfolios for college. There's some of them doing plein air painting on a field trip, which we finally allowed during COVID. And we also, you'll recognize Emma from before. She was a student at our Yorba Linda studio. This is some of her work in the middle, and she is now a teacher for our advanced study program as well. In fact, we have a lot of former students who are teachers, which is really cool, and they go on to do all kinds of good stuff. Pandemic came around, and we got into the online business, and we have not stopped. And truly, I should have listened to Tanya and joined the rec, because we're still trying to get ourselves all the way off the ground with our CRM. It is a beast. It is a beast, man. Oh my heavens. Like, I may yet come join you guys, because I am a newbie where it comes to online marketing. What the heck? Oh my heavens. I never thought I'd say it. I thought it'd be so much easier, but brick and mortar, so much easier, because they just show up. Oh my God, you got to develop trust. It's a whole thing. Oh. Anyway, but we're getting there. We're getting there. So we provide like a worksheet, and we have a whole bunch of curriculum that I'll show you in a little bit that we've created. So this is not from my mentors, but we use some of the same ideas. So this is the kid working completely from home with no hands-on help from a teacher ever. So this is an example of some of the work that they've done. Super cool. Love that kid. Who are we? So these are sort of all our departments. We also have a couple more departments that I'll throw out to you, but just a sense of our org chart. Today, like I will tell you that before the pandemic, we and I'll stop share just for, well, I won't stop share. You can admire some art. Hopefully this is a little break for you if you're all like stressing over finals and you just get like a little art fix and cute kid fix. But before the pandemic, we were making our way to 1,000 students. It took 20 years. We hit 1,000 students literally 1 month before the lockdown. But what I wished for came true. I had 3 studios and a nonprofit, those 3 to 4 studios, and 1,000 students. To this day, it gives me chills. That's exactly what we were aiming for. I cannot underestimate. And I think a lot of my friends that they have businesses that work with kids, they're loosey-goosey. No, you treat your business like a business and it will thrive and you will serve those kids so much better. So I'm so grateful that we didn't end with 999 right beforehand. It would have driven me nuts. But we really tanked, obviously our business super tanked. And so we developed this online program that I actually developed with my expertise in using Ed's program. So we are continuing with that. And so we have just a little org chart for those interested in business. There's myself, and I know I've got way too much weight on my shoulders. I'm highly imperfect. Yeah, Tanya's like, what are you doing? But our managers are amazing. And they actually support one another really well. And I'll show you our meeting rhythm a little bit later in the presentation, so that you have an idea of how we do that. But we have 3 studio managers here over to the left, Haley, Robin, and Chantal for each of the 3. And I know this is really tiny writing, so it's kind of hard to see. We have a very long-term staff member, Laura, who's our operations manager at this moment, working from Texas, which is cool. My brother is our accountant, and I have to say, I have not yet learned how to really manage an accountant, but I would if I had to learn it. And that's entrepreneurship. You learn everything on the job. I'm so impressed with you guys for actually doing this in college. I wish I had it. So my brother, who I really do trust, does our books, and I still do have checks and balances for everything as best I can. I'm not as secure with everything as I should be, as I've been reminded of lately, but I do make sure that nobody has access to our bank account. I've seen people, I had someone I knew lost her business. Somebody just took it from out from under her. So you got to always think you're defending the fortress with everything from interviewing, anybody that we're iffy about on staffing. If it's a maybe, it's a no on hiring people. If you're working with kids, the thing you got to have is the vibe. If you guys all get along well, kids can smell conflict like dogs, and they will not be happy, and you will not have a nice program. So all these people, all these faces you see, and there's so many others that we didn't put their face in, they're amazing people who are all actually, if you all want later, I can show you our Clifton strengths. I almost put it in the presentation. It's hilarious to see kind of like the personality of the company coming out through that. But we also have a teacher trainer who trains all our teachers now, where I personally trained everybody for 20 years. So I'll show you how I extracted myself from the day-to-day with that, which is why I get to play with working on the online program, which is awesome, because that's like the holy grail of entrepreneurship, is to get yourself out of the day-to-day, right? Isn't that everybody? You need to love to do it, and then you need to want to get out of there, and it's a paradox.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry, but
So,
yes, absolutely.
Yep. And then we have our online program manager, we have our curriculum manager, and our central office manager. We also have Daisy, who's here with us today, who is my amazing virtual assistant who lives in the Philippines. And if you want an amazing company, I can recommend one. Oh my gosh, I love them so much. Who can ethically and extremely professionally work with you on bringing some people in internationally at their standard of living rate is completely different from Southern California, I tell you. And then we've got our nonprofit as well. So our studio manager here manages our nonprofit. We just do a few schools, so it's doable for her, and it's her dream. I've learned over the years, I think in the beginning it was the Hilary show, and I just knew how to do what I did and then try to replicate myself. And as I'm getting older, and especially after the pandemic, I'm really trying to learn how to get better every day at really looking at the people we have being clear on our goals, clear on their goals, and then orchestrating the energies together so that the people we're working with are working toward their goals. Because I find it's really easy to take a person and just kind of want to fit them into your own mold, but I'll tell you, they're not going to last anyway. And so it's rich when you can see. I have trouble seeing people. The Clifton Strengths actually showed me that I do have a little bit of trouble seeing, not just seeing myself narcissistically in other people, but it's a joy seeing, people absolutely thrive in their roles when you get it right. And that's like learning to walk a tightrope, or learning to, do gymnastics or music or art. It takes years to cultivate that skill, I think. Although some people have it really naturally. She does. So that's really cool to see too. Besides our mission statement, which you saw at the top of the presentation, we also have guiding principles that I personally go over with as many staff as I possibly can. I do an orientation with them. I used to onboard everyone, not anymore, but I will do an orientation and talk through it. And I keep trying to videotape it, but the point of what we do is about connection. And I feel like it's the least I can do with a new staff member, to meet them once and make a connection and teach them through my example how it's about connection. So these are some of the things that you can screenshot it, look at on your own. Please don't share it with, I guess it is shared with the whole wide world now, but I'm proud of, let me tell you too, running a business, and many of you probably already are running businesses, so you know this, it's extremely painful. Like, it's personally painful, it's professionally painful. Like you get a gut punch on stuff like you had no idea was a problem. You go in with best of intentions, and the old phrase is, it's an old politically incorrect phrase, but man makes plans and God laughs. So like, as soon as you put something in place, it's gonna change. If you do have a project that you want to complete start to finish, I recommend reading the book Scrum by JJ. Oh, who's the guy? JJ somebody on NPR is actually one of the co-authors, but his dad, I forgot the name. He's the one that got all the ATMs in the country working the first time.
Oh, wow.
So he's a project manager, and it's what computer programmers use for project management. Is called Scrum. If you read that book, it'll teach you how to get things done.
We actually covered that book in one of the operations classes. Yeah. Excellent recommendation. I can't think of the name either myself, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So Leaderman,
Is it JJ Sutherland?
Sutherland.
Yes,
that's it. That's one. Good job. Thank you.
Yes. So, but I digress. This all comes from stuff going wrong. And I have to say, the way that I've made my business, there's vision involved, but there's more checking what went wrong, flip it, patch that hole, and you got a whole boat made out of patches. And as long as you know what direction you're going, you're going to sail. So that's what I've learned in 23 years of repeating this process. But my God, it goes through the body of the owner of the business more than anybody. And, you want to protect all your staff from pain, but you won't. However, you can get out in front of it. And I'll show you a couple ways that we try to do that. I wanted to show you I'm trying to get used to Google Docs, but so we're trying to work out how to organize the files, but I am a neat freak about our files. And I'll bug people. I've got like two things. First of all, I make sure that everything stays in order here. And then also I make sure that every staff member has a job description, which we are changing soon to job scorecards. That's a change we're looking to make. In other words, every person has a number. That's new for me. I love it, love it, love it. Couldn't be more true. Weirdly, you see how artsy we are. We are by all means numbers driven, and our whole staff, who all have art degrees, 93% have art degrees, and they all hang on to those numbers. So do not be afraid to measure, man. It's the greatest. I would show you our.
I love this. I love Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to say just really quickly how much I love this and the fact that you're showing how anyone, regardless of their background and degree, has to kind of hang on to that organization. We call these organizations for a reason. A business is an organization, and you're doing such an amazing job at this. Yeah.
And you were it's constant organizing. Amen. How funny
Right?
that we know the same thing. It just cracks me up. She's an old friend of mine. But it's so true. And it's just the laws of physics, you know. So I make sure that everybody has a job description and support, as it's all based on the Green and Clean in 7 Habits. And I'll show you that book in a little bit. It's all based around that. That's a stewardship delegation. Anybody can do it. The entire company runs on that and it's running very well. And we have a checklist for everybody too. And we're just in the process of figuring out with the, like, think in the next quarter or so, we're going to go through and revamp and reorganize again, because it's constant. We are making our own curriculum now for the online program. So I just had to show off some of this fun stuff because I love it. This is kind of how some of our sorry, went too far, too fast. Work is done. We just have a ton of concept sketches, and then we have different levels. So they all have level 1, level 2, level 3. We made a level 3.5. We're in the process of developing this, and we use Trello, dudes. I am obsessed with Trello. That's my thing. You can do the Jim Sutherland is the dad method, the Scrum method. This is, you can see, I didn't put a Trello board that really has the exact, but we do, because we have some other stuff. This is just a screenshot, but it's backlog, to do, doing, done. And so we've now added all these other things, but this is basically like an animation pipeline. We've got 4 illustrators working, 2 are full-time, and it is a blast. It is like my favorite part of this whole thing sometimes, but then the kids are, but then the staff is, and I can never decide. The art. So these are some examples of some of our different levels for different
Amazing.
Oh my gosh, the online program is so good too. We found that they learned drawing faster than they did in the classroom, and the classroom is pretty solid art education. So we also train, I mentioned we would kind of touch on this one. So everybody goes through the projects that the kids go through, and we've got a whole Trello board, and this is what we did. We made videos, and so we have a step-by-step for the trainer that I worked with someone, because I did this so intuitively for so long. I found a person who's very methodical and would sit by my side and take notes on all this stuff. And whenever we worked in the job training, we worked on the job, capture, write it down. So you first have to do the thing, figure out what you're even doing, get good at it, then document it. And that's what we finally did. This is a huge job. Our teachers go through 40 to 50 hours of artwork training plus ongoing, and then another 40 or more in the classroom. So it's about 100 hours of artwork training. We invest a huge amount in our teachers. And these are people who already have art degrees too. So we look for unicorns and we find them. Amazing people who are excellent artists, great with kids, really agreeable. We love them.
And that's what it takes to make an amazing business. Yeah.
It's the systems plus the people. I learned that you can't just have the people.
Or the systems. Yeah.
Or the systems. Nope. This is an example of like one of the SOPs. This is one of many. I mean, I don't even know how many, probably. I mean, I think it's like a book. So this is just like one of what we're doing. And this comes also with a video now. We're starting to do videos for everything. And I'm just hiring from the company that Daisy comes from, a new video editor. I'm so excited because we're going to have a whole bunch new out. Within our Trello board, you go into the cards and there's exactly how to do it. And then lots of visual examples as well. And then we have examples of the teacher's art in their cards. They have an employee card, an employee board, so the managers can get in and see how they're doing on their art. This is our video, like we keep everything, like now we're using Google Docs. And we have a video that I can show you, just an example of one of them. Let's see if it plays.
When students sit together, it saves the teacher time, helps with preview and review, and helps the class feel fuller and just more pleasant. At the 10-minute mark, if there's a student that hasn't shown up, ask students from the back of the class to fill in any extra spots. If you have 6 students, you'll put them all on one side. If you have 7 or more, consolidate them on both sides up toward the front of the room. This helps everything to feel fuller and for everyone to have a good experience.
So that's an example. That's a little 30-second video. So I'm just making, I don't know, it's like, oops, I'm trying to move on to making hundreds of them that they just look in little chunks, which is how we also teach. And then we have a daily routine, or it was daily, and then we ran out of videos. So it's weekly now, but we're going to go back to daily when we finish all our video project, where the teachers just get one little reminder every day so that they are in unison, because it's so easy to be punitive toward, and it's, oh my God, I go in studios and I'm like, fix this, do that. Like I see all these things that they're doing wrong. And we really have to shift. I have to constantly shift my thinking and remember we're here to support, and we really are. I think they feel incredibly supported. So it's just give them tools, give them tools, give them tools, and help them be their best. Some more examples of some of the artwork training. So they do little examples and then they finish out an oil, like there's an acrylic, there's an oil. So that's how they know how to do it. So once again, when we work in the job, we work on the job. So this is all the management has this habit. So I work, when I'm thinking what hands-on types of interactions do I want to do with them? I work to make sure that in real time, when something comes up that we need to capture, that we capture it. Just today, I was going through with our online program manager. Oh, the CRM people were unsubscribing over here, and so they needed to be taken off over there. And I said, okay, we got to capture this. We got to make sure we're doing it 100% of the time consistently, and that a monkey could do it, like that anybody could do this, and it's easy to see. I think I have it if anybody wants to see it, but I might have put it away. So it's something that, you know, everybody can read it. And then there is one person who's going to do this on a regular basis. And then we're creating a little task for them. And then that's going to become a position. It's like a part of someone's position now, and then it will become its own position later. So I feel like we're constantly orchestrating 1,000 of these things right now. It's a little much. I'm going to say, keep things simple. You'll do better if you keep things simple, but yeah, so if all the management understands that when anything changes, I cannot emphasize this enough, man. Any little habit that they have, if there's a change, it goes in the SOP, standard operating procedure. Boom. If there's a muscle memory to develop, nothing builds a business more than a whole team of people building the business. And they have to understand, and this is something that we had, and now it got different because of Google Docs and like all. So we have to decide, is our SOPs in Excel? Are they on Google Sheets? Are they on Google Docs? Are they on what's the format? So we're going to go through reorganize, because people kind of started drifting like during the pandemic. And I'm like, why is everyone's guide in a different format?
No, I mean, yes, this is what you're experiencing and sharing. I feel like this is universal, and I'm so glad that you're saying it.
Dude, nothing can be more important than, well, there's a lot but it's the role of the person organizing the thing to guide the group to continue to organize. So I see a project coming that I know we're about to do this. And like I say, I was touching on before, it is painful when something goes wrong. If you've ever run something, you've experienced things going horribly wrong. And
Yep.
Like, why didn't this, why, well, they didn't, or you know, what's the worst when you have well, it's not terrible. We have a really strong staff member. You will have the weakest business at first because they're doing everything. They
Yeah.
take care of this.
And the systems aren't, and they're not creating the systems. They're just they're taking care of the actions, which is the opposite of what needs to happen. Yeah.
But they can start the ball. They set the bar.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
leave.
Yeah.
All hell breaks loose.
Yep.
Don't worry. It's temporary if you were trying to pay some modicum of attention.
Mhm.
And then you're going to flip it. What just went wrong? Okay, how can that never, ever happen again? So we make our guiding principles like, you know, you've got to, one of our principles is you've got to go to the person and tell them when there's a problem. Do not let it fester. That's like, we teach it straight out of the gate, that kind of thing, because we know we don't want to have that pain again, but you will have pain and it's part of the process. And that's why you get the big bucks. because you're gonna experience that, and why you get to have the long vacation, which I'm not good at yet, but I'm gonna get there. And clearing the obstacles. This is the other piece of pain that I'm gonna just say. Obstacles are inherent. You're not gonna make a plan and have it go well. So, and individuals have their own personal obstacles. They have interpersonal obstacles and they have institutional obstacles. So you've got to find them. And what will never happen, well, okay, if you have a truth teller on your staff who will come to you with problems, hang on to that person because they're rare. Most people they see you and they put on their best face.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to tell you the problem. You ever have you ever talk smack about your boss or about your job with your coworkers, and you can do this laterally, but you would never, and then they come in, hi, and everything's fine. I've learned that's not a personal insult. It's human nature. It's okay. So you got to ask tough questions. And one thing that's been helping us a lot lately, and we've dug up all kinds of stuff, is we call it the 3 questions. We make sure that at least once a month we have a sit down. We invite that teacher or that person. Most of our staff are teachers, but whatever staff member, including management. Yeah. What are the 3 things that are going really great right now? And then what are the 3 things that are awful? And they'll tell you one thing, and then they'll tell you another, and you might have found what bothers them most, but the 3rd one is the one they go, oh, well, actually, I've been meaning to tell you, and that still gives me a body response, like, oh, I hate getting that. I'm gonna be moving away, or I'm, whatever. So you want to find these things out and get them out, or this person is really, okay, I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to throw them under the bus, but I don't really know how to deal with this person, and you can guide them through that. So we love the 3 questions. We've also got quarterly planning meetings that I'll go into in a minute, where we get it all out in a group setting, even though usually we praise in public, correct in private. And we start with a survey even in our staff meetings, and it gives people a chance to form their thoughts when they're alone, and can get in touch with what's bugging them. And that's not all you survey them on, by the way. Paint the narrative for them, how great everything is, and then it's a little problem, and we're dealing with the problem 100% at the right time, and then we're back into our rah-rah.
This is so similar to the whole customer discovery process of we go through in entrepreneurship, and I love to hear how you're using this. These are the same kinds of things we do when we're surveying early adopters and new customers. You have to ask people about the things that bother them the most. And I've never thought about doing it with staff, and I just love this idea. So I'm going to steal it. I just have to say, I'm going to steal this. I love it. I love it. Anyways, sorry, don't want to get us off task.
Absolutely. Well, we're right on track for timing. I will wrap up in a minute. Teacher meeting rhythm, for the teachers, they say hi to their studio manager. Every other month we observe the class. On the opposite months, we have sit down and we walk through their artwork. They have quarterly staff meetings and an annual all staff meeting that is so much fun. The admin, they have a daily check-in and they have some 30-minute weekly meetings together, an annual all staff meeting. And they do have occasional, and by the way, everybody has reviews every 6 months, not unless they're on salary, in which case it's annual. By the way, remote teams, oh my heavens, better to meet in person if you can. Sometimes there's a balance, 50-50, I think. And then this is what I do. I meet with everybody every week. I don't know if that's, if that's entirely necessary. But we do a monthly in-person meeting. And then some people are on Zoom because they just live too far away. And then every 2 weeks, we do another meeting. So that one is only on Zoom. We have quarterly planning meetings, an annual planning meeting, and an annual all staff meeting. Oops, I got a typo in there. And this is an example of the goals that I set up, and I'll show you, I won't go into what all of them are, but these are some goals for the year. So we had three-year goals. They're numerical goals and non-numerical is what I like to do. And then we have quarterly. We only just started doing this and I love it so much. This is some of our staff, by the way, these wonderful people at our all staff meeting. This is how wonderful the culture. I'm telling you, if you have a wonderful culture at work, you're going to want to go. And come on, how much better is this? This is one of the managers and her staff just exalted her on a whiteboard one day. So come on, like that is how you keep the air clean and then you have a great work environment and people get to have a good life, right? This is them having a great time at our staff meeting, doing art. We had a bunch of, we do games that help them remember things that they need to know as a team, among other things. So some of our great staff members, we just get together outside of work. I think it's so important. So some of my favorite books, whole company is running around this one. If you only read one book for the rest of your life, it's this one. It is the original number of anything for anything. This is the granddaddy of all of them, and it's the best. This is the one I recently started reading, and this is how we know what our meetings are. And I am working to get toward this. This is just a blueprint for how to run a company. And I know of several books like this. And from what I'm gathering, I think this is like the best one. I think I will let you know in a couple of years how it turned out, but I'm pretty sure that's it. And then of course, E-Myth, when you work on the business, in the business, you work on the business. This is our vision. This is where I want to be. So I always stay attached to that because I can do anything. I can suffer anything if we have this. Again, this is why this is really the vision. And that is my talk for today. So I'm happy to take any questions.
Hilary, thank you so much. That was such an amazing workshop. Some of the topics that you covered personally for me were just things that we're going through right now as we're growing at the Rec Innovation Lab. And I think many businesses go through this. And I love to hear how you recognize the need to create successful systems in order to grow, in order to have a successful company. And these are really helpful for me, really helpful. So I have a couple of questions myself. I want to also encourage anyone in the audience to ask questions. You can do that by either putting them in the chat, or if you just want to ask, you can always turn on your camera and your microphone and ask us right here. I do see, I want to ask or answer other people's questions before mine. And I saw there was a question here from Alejandra, and she said that her daughter's been taking some classes and she wants to know a little bit more about how she can create a file for college and also about your own summer classes. She's a teenager, so.
Oh, thanks, Alejandra. Absolutely. We're in Orange County, California. But if you're in San Diego or anywhere else, you can actually connect with our online program because we do have 3 advanced study mentors. We used to call it portfolio prep, and we learned that many people don't think they need a portfolio, but yes, you do. So you're already there. So we'd be really happy to connect you with someone. That's great. Yeah, I will also tell you, side note, the Laguna College of Art and Design is completely amazing. Their counselors, they're like the outlier. They're an incredible school, and their counselors will for free work with you,
Wow.
work with the team to get their portfolio up to par. I don't
And
know why.
Laguna,
College of Art and Design, LCAD.
nice, thank you.
I know.
Yep, and there was another question, you talked a little bit about your ethical and responsible outsourcing, and the question was about how a small and growing business can outsource and do it ethically and I know personally firsthand that you've been able to successfully do that, like with Daisy and with others. Maybe you could share a little bit about how you do that and how you did that and how you do that.
I mean, this is pretty recent. I think Daisy's been with us for how long, Daisy? Like not even 6 months yet. So, but it's life-changing. I have to say, having a help. I was just telling you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it myself.
How long have you been with us, Daisy?
I think 4 months.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, not long at all. But I'm in an entrepreneurs organization called Entrepreneurs Organization, which I think the rec does what they do. They have something called EO Accelerator, which will get businesses up to $1 million, and then over $1 million, they can join EO. And I really, really value that organization. I've learned a ton because you're constantly learning. That's what all the entrepreneurs want to do is learn. It's lifelong, and you're just hungry for this knowledge. So it's amazing to have peers and hear people who are like Tanya's expressing, like going through some of the same things. It really helps. My gosh, everybody needs peers. So one of the members is the owner of Doxa, and he explained to me that they opened the company specifically to be ethical, and he explained just a number of ways that's really their focus. And speaking with him, I really believe that. And so far, so good. They look wonderful, and they're very professional. They keep up. They look out for their staff and for us as a company. So it's like partnership. And it's a super affordable way in to, if we're iffy on if we can hire someone, which we were with our video editor, because video editor is an arm and a leg, but we were able to find someone who's going to have, a great experience. Daisy, do you want to talk about your experience with Doxa at all? You're more of an expert than I am. Oh, she just got up. Oh, there she is.
She ran away because of it.
No, sorry. Actually, Doxa helps out a lot of companies, regardless if they're just starting up or they're in the middle of building their company or organization. Basically, they do the sourcing, and then they deploy the people for you, and they do a lot of assessments just to ensure that you get the right person for your needs, especially when it comes to work ethics, to their values. They ensure that everything's in line with your company.
So far, so good in our case. And I know someone else who's hired 5 Doxa people and is basically running her company with Doxa. Like everyone behind the scenes is from that, like they have accounting, and people receive training as well in administrative. So like Daisy just came with like all this information. So we just ask her, like, how do we do this with Google Docs? And she walks us through. So.
Well, and I think I'll be able to add to that again soon, because I'm going to be working with somebody from Doxa very soon here myself. So thank you for that recommendation. And it looks like we're just about out of time here. We only have a minute or two left, and I know people have to go on to finals. So the last question I want to make sure that we get to answer is how best for people to connect with you, or can they connect with you on LinkedIn, or is there another way that they can follow what you're doing, or connect?
Oh my goodness, yeah. I can pop in the chat in a minute, or Daisy, if you want to do that, since you're here, we can, we're just, oh my gosh, our Facebook, and I know on Instagram, we're Art Steps Classes.
Okay.
And then on Facebook, I think we're just Art Steps. And you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I have to get Daisy looking at my LinkedIn so that I see it, because I'm a person that I never feel like I need to network through LinkedIn. I came from a time before that existed. Right. I'm an old timer. So, but yeah, I would be really happy to talk to anyone. I love talking about about business. And it's just a form, I don't know what it is, but I love knowing that everyone here is so interested in creating something in the service of children in particular. So it's a beautiful thing when you start a business. It's just like a baby to me, because you're going to be creating a whole culture and serving the world. And I would be thrilled to chat with anybody. You can also email me directly if Daisy wants to put my email address in there.
I was just going to say, Daisy, yeah, if you want to share the email address or any of the LinkedIn, Instagram or Facebook connections on there, that way people can connect. And I think we have at least one way we can kind of maybe go from there. I think anybody, and I think I might have actually found you on LinkedIn as well. So I can put that link in there at least. So, and oh, thank you. There, she's putting them in here right now. Thank you so much. That's wonderful. So with that, I know a lot of you have to leave at 7:25 now, so we're going to have to end it there. Hilary, this was amazing. I would love to talk with you some more. This is so helpful for anybody just starting or in where many of us are in the phase where we're actually trying to grow our small businesses. I'd love to talk with you also on our podcast that we're going to be starting up again here soon. And so I will be back in touch with you again very soon. And thank you everyone for being here today, especially to, of course, Hilary Key, but then all of the students and founders. Thank you for being here. And we'll see you all again very soon. Take care, everyone. And goodbye.